Dr. Gulshan Rai has joined us, so I request MAKP Singh to please kindly felicitate our guests. So can we have a big round of applause, everyone? Dr. Gulshan Rai, former National Cybersecurity Coordinator of India. Thank you very much. It is very well said, डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम ने कहा था, मेरे 3 स्वप्न हैं, ज्ञान, प्रगति एंड सामर्थ्य। इन तीनों को एक ही और इन तीनों का एक ही मार्ग है। हम सबको मिलकर उठना, मिलकर सोचना, मिलकर सपने देखना और उन सपनों को कर्मों में बदल देना। जब विज्ञान दृष्टि बनता है, तकनीक समाधान बनती है और युवा शक्ति संकल्प बन जाती है, तभी एक नया भारत जन्म लेता है। एंड विद दैट नोट, आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट डॉक्टर गुलशन राय, फॉर्मर नेशनल साइबर सिक्योरिटी coordinator of India, so to kindly come and felicitate and kindly give the special address. Thank you very much.
My esteemed colleague, Mr. M.A.K.P. Singh, my another esteemed colleague, Mr. Atul Gupta, the partner at KPMG, Mr. Devan, the CISO at Adani, Dr. Prasenjit, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participant delegates, good morning to all of you. Friend, we are in a different scenario, different era today there. Not when I started this area about 20 years ago or when Atul started this area or MAKP started this area. I don't think any one of us had realized that time that we'll be ending our career, active career in the government, not for Atul, for me and MAKP Singh, in a area which is different than what it used to be there. It's totally different area kind of a scenario which we are dealing with. We had realized this aspect in 2002 and we worked and we started working for that. But prior to that, some realization, some thought had happened when we wrote the Information Technology Act and some provisions were made for that. But actual real realization came in 2002 after your social media came to the picture. The mobile phones were got a little more deeper, more popular. That time we realized and we work for a setup we served there. Atul was involved at point of a time. Used to be 3 or 4 incidents there. But we were dealing with different kind of a technologies at that point of a time. As a part of my responsibility, I have been to several plant. I've been to Bokaro. I've been to the other steel authority plant. Even the power stations, I have been there. Refineries, I've been there. But situation was altogether different there. It was not the way it is there today or it's going to be there day after tomorrow. I think Divan will tell you what kind of issues which he may be facing today. Of course, the structure of the entire system was also different. We were dealing with the individual technologies there. We were not dealing with the convergence of technologies at that point of a time. What was the encryption cryptography that it was not very popular? Who wanted to encrypt it? Who wanted to keep the things in a down below? All those technology which you see today, they were being used, they were being taken as a fun, as a toy. You start playing the thrill was there. I'm not saying that there is no thrill today. There is a thrill today also. But today, the thrill, it with certain fear, the certain apprehension on your mind, and something you don't know. At that point of time, we did not know what we don't know, and there was no apprehension that point. That was the scenario. Everything was individual. There was nothing together. Now you look at the slide there. What are we dealing with this? This is the position, real position today. Yeah, that's why I said we are in different era. We are dealing with multiple technologies, and all technologies encapsulated in a single kind of a device. You can look at your mobile, simple thing which everyone has in his pocket there, everyone uses thousands time in the day. You find all these technologies sitting over there. There was another difference at that point of a time. The area which Mr. M.A.K.P. Singh belongs to, largely mechanical transducers, mechanical switches were there. Hardly there was any Wi-Fi. That area was still more complicated than the general IT area, but still far away from what we have today. These are the multiple technologies we deal with today. They're all intertwined among together. I don't think any one of you dealing with this area or dealing on the field there will be able to leave any single technology from the entire pack when you are modernizing your systems, renovating your systems, or upgrading your systems there. I've been to many of the power plants. I've been to the Steel Authority Training Center also, which was far away from the Korba. Went to NTPC Center. From there, we went to their simulation center where they train the system there. So this is the kind of a complication this different era has come. Certainly, after all these technologies were invented, were framed not to create a trouble or not to create a problem, but to enhance the efficiency, ease of operation, and better productivity. Everything has a good and bad point, merit and demerits. It's only what we need to look at it. But we must look at it, the merit, and we must look at the demerits also there. We have seen the merit, and more technologies are coming up. Who used to talk about, I think, M.A.K.P. Singh, my three distinguished panelists will tell you, who used to talk about IT and OT? Never. Nobody was mentioning about IT and OT. Word OT came only during the last 5 years' time, not before that. Everything was being ruled by a foreign nationalist, for foreign firms there. Honeywell, Yokogawa, Siemens, they were ruling the entire OT world there. But today's scenario has changed there. You find these technologies, not only these technologies, any modern plant you go there, all these transducers, sensors, they have been pneumatic, have been replaced with a Wi-Fi kind of a scenario. That's a scenario. Sensors have become part of the system there. If you look at the innovation in technologies, the sensors, growth in the sensor technology has been mind-boggling and tremendous there. That's the scenario today. Sensor, everyone looks at the sensor. You wear a watch, there's a sensor. You walk, there's a sensor. So all the plants, wherever they are getting converted into a kind of a Wi-Fi systems rather than a wire system. And you have a control and command control systems there. I mean, the time doesn't permit, I can tell you stories and stories, because I am one of those lucky person who has grown, how the technology has grown in this country. I have seen national and international kind of a scenario, initiated many things. The time doesn't permit, somewhere else. We'll give you the case studies and stories, how all of us, including you all, have struggled to come to this technology. Coming back to the topic, Friends, we are dealing in a different era with these multiple technologies encapsulated in a single device or interacting with each other. Larger devices means larger protocols, larger interfaces there, and whenever there is a protocol or interface, you can always see there is a problem. Any North Indian explaining his expression to South Indian, you can find there is an interface there. You find there is a problem. Accent will be different, different will be there. Depending upon the North Indian or South Indian coming from different area, which area they come, it may not be 100% clearly understood by any one of them. I am giving a very simple example. So is the case in these technologies also. More interfaces, more protocols, more system, more configuration. This is all result of the multiple technologies coming in one system there. The entire IT and OT, the distinction between IT and OT has been now blurred and diffused there. I took the name of Honeywell, Siemens, all kind of scenarios. They all produced the proprietary kind of technologies at that time. All proprietary technologies they produced, whereas the IT was in a largely open standards. Adopted the open standards somewhere in 2000 or so. Today, OT is also gone on open standards. IT and OT, same systems are being used. Only difference is that the versions of the software which are used in OT or let me say professional equipment, maybe 2 versions below than those used in IT. And there is a reason for that: hardening the system, configuring the system properly. All medical system, all OT system you find, they don't allow you to load a current version of the software directly from the website. They harden it and they do that. That's the only difference today has come. Otherwise, the distinction between IT and OT has merged. There is a very blur kind of a scenario. So you find different names in today. All those different names, people of my age who understand, who see that these names were not there, part of it there. UAV, embedded semiconductor systems there. All those same were all different kind of a scenarios there. So we are dealing with this kind of a era, this kind of a technologies, and this kind of a technologies is going to become more and more complex as we move on. Government had set up a quantum safe ecosystem group. They're talking about quantum. But today what we are talking about, a post-quantum era. That's what people are talking about, post-quantum, preparing themselves for post-quantum. Of course, India as a country may be slightly delayed, but we are in the post-quantum era where the quantum aspect is built right on any device. And other factor you see, you have to merge IT and OT with the same DNS system there. OT being a small size, you can't have those firewalls and those kind of scenarios, equipment perimeter security in the name of IPS and firewall for those kind of small OT systems. As we move on, all those issues will come up. Now, because of the different technologies there, though we all talk about the open standards, but when we look at the IT, their internal standard architectures are slightly different than what you get to the OT architecture system. You go to the OT, outside certainly they'll give you TCP IP protocols, but inside structure is totally proprietary. And I can tell you, friend, the 2-3 countries, even the ICANN, it started evolving a new DNS system. Look at the OT IoT systems are more than 40 billion in the world today. You don't have even IPv6 version may find difficult to cater to those IPv6, those number of the IoTs which are coming up, devices, all connected devices. Different DNS systems are being involved. At any point of a time, we have a legacy system, partly modernized and partly old, and that scenario will continue as long as I think I breathe my last. That will continue to be that system there. Once a new DNS system comes up, you can realize the complication and the issues which may arise at that point of a time. Now, this system, this kind of heterogeneous, complex web of the systems, that's what, when I came in, Mr. M.A.K.P.K. Singh was talking about it. I don't think he retired as a member Hydro. I don't know whether he really saw or his time will come and see such complication in time to come. Yeah. Now, this perspective, this kind of a technology which is moving up, you see, what are the issues which are arising? These issues are also become quite difficult. As I said, large heterogeneity, configuration becomes an issue, matching the configuration is the issue. So first issue comes up, the architectural issues, which becomes important. Which one? Hardware stack there. Because today the scenario is not a something vertical and horizontal. Gone are the days when HP and IBM used to be there. Today, even IBM doesn't believe in this kind of an end-to-end system to be produced there. They produce limited kind of a systems, and each one of is trying to get into the software aspect there. So architectural and compatibility, interoperability has become the first issue in this kind of world. All these products are data enriched. That's the second aspect there, because data is being generated, data is being kept there, and data is being transferred there. You are dealing with the open and closed kind of systems there. There is a mobility, Wi-Fi is part of it. You have APIs. That is another trend has happened, that any application, any device you go through the API system. Any application you do with the APIs. And look at the way the APIs are installed, either Google or Apple. I don't know, media is here or media is not there? Media is there. Where the apps are hosted there. And is another kind of a issue comes up, and I don't know, I think my friend Atul will be able to give more. What is going to be the issue, DPDP, when actually you go to API kind of a system there. Third, platform. Everything is a platform becoming economy. Clouds there. System has changed. You have a hybrid cloud, private cloud, public cloud. Today the trend is there. You have a hybrid kind of a cloud, private as well as the public cloud. Host your sensitive data in a private cloud and put general data in a, but then transfer our data. There is another heterogeneity at the cloud level also aspect comes over there. So these are the issues which has arisen in this system. And the most important factor, what I talked about, is a technical factor. Now look at the procedures and the regulatory aspects there. Yesterday I was speaking in the CII function. I explained to them, look, policy and implementation, they are two different aspects. You make a policy, I still say it is easy to draft a policy. I have done it, so I understand that. I have been in operation for last 25, 30 years, so I understand the operation, but conversion policy to operation is a very, very difficult job there. And now difficulty has come up because of the regulatory kind of a compliances there. Every compliance is getting enforced on the user organization.
That's another complication. So there is a rising complexity of data, where data is residing, where data is being transferred, what data is being stored, data format. That's one complexity. Then regulatory compliances, you have a privacy, you have a security, which MAKP Singh said this cyber policy has been there, it is going to be implemented, that kind of scenario. And the most important is the threat and incidents. Wherever there is a software, there will be a breach. Wherever there is a data, there is a breach. And please remember, IT has three distinct features than any other technology. Virtual, borderless, no warranty and guarantee. You buy a laptop there, nobody gives you guarantee, you negotiate the guarantee for that 3 years, 5 years, or whatever you want to do. Nowadays, they say, you take it, I'll give you replace the next hardware for after 5 years also. So you pay, you get guarantee. You pay, you get updates. You pay, you get versions updates. If one software version you don't upgrade, that becomes vulnerable, and you go to the website, you find vulnerabilities for each and every software. You give a couple of hours, new software you find the vulnerabilities there. What ports are open, your tools are there, you're talking about the tools are open, you run the tools from a distance and you do that. Kindly believe me, any systems which comes on the internet, the moment it gets connected, it is being scanned for what ports are open, what software versions are done, what IP address is there. Everything gets scanned and someone comes, takes away the files also to you. It's all myth. I really wonder. I was a founding member of the Justice Krishna Committee who set up the DPDP framework first. I don't know how will we be able to do that. The third factor which comes, which I have not spoken it, the AI system. Every system has a software operating system there. Windows, Linux, iOS, whatever, Android, you talk about it. Top of this, every system has also embedded AI. Every embedded system is AI there. AI has its own operating system there, different architectures. The two operating systems need to merge together. So the threat angle becomes more complex because AI is superimposed over there on the operating system. Operating system has to control the AI, and AI also has to control, there has to be a exchange, complete exchange with the basic operating system of the device. So that the threat factor increasing, the area exposed become exposed, and threats and the liabilities, threats and the incidents become more. When I was the DG 13, incidents were hardly 40,000, 50,000. Today the incidents are more than 2 million incidents are there. Different kind of incidents, and maybe equal number of incidents are not being reported. I have talked about the privacy obligation and limitations. I have talked about it. Trust and effects. I have heard several times beautiful lecture given by my friend Atul Gupta. He talks about trusted architecture. Atul, I can guarantee to you, I don't think anyone in this country has set up a fully trusted architecture which you have been advocating for years together. That's another factor there. How do you do the trust factor? You change the software, you change the device, trust factor. You ask me, any Indian banking company, I have gone there. I have been to Citibank and in the HSBC bank also. And I must tell you the best practices which the banks follows there. The laptop or the computer terminal, they all come to the IT system, tested thoroughly with respect to the ports, with respect to the interfaces, with respect to the software is loaded there, and then it's put on the network, monitored centrally. If something goes wrong with the terminal, they don't repair it. They just take it away use it for offline, not on the network. In that scenario, we are following in this country when you talk about the banking or you talk about the system process. We don't. So the liabilities in that scenario becomes very, very important. Privacy becomes very, very important, and the trust becomes very, very important. These are the systems there. So in the entire systems today, security architecture becomes very important. Your security policies and procedures, which Mr. M.A.K.P. Singh just little bit gave a hint, it becomes very, very important. The security operation response becomes very, very important. I have seen, I think all of you would have seen, what is our thinking? Put a SIM, we have a security. Put a firewall, we have a security. These two kind of scenarios are not going to be sufficient adequate in this scenario which I described in the first slide, what we are dealing, which we are going to deal with this. Today, the trend I have seen abroad, they have an inside SOC, but they have another SOC outside with another vendor also. Any shutdown operation, it costs a whole lot of money. The real concept of maker and checker balance now is getting implemented, as we have seen in the financial system. It's getting implemented, and it will come surely in this country, maybe a few years later there. Now friends, all of you have come. Now look at so far we have discussed since I have taken more time, yes, taken few minutes. Please. Now you see the separate challenges of the OT system. First, I have said IT and OT. Me and Atul have discussed several times. If you look at all the threat incidents that have happened in the world, largely happened in the world, is because of the process of the OT systems there, largely, and they have put the IT systems down there. Any system you see started something with OT, with IT asset, versions are different, platforms are different, connectivity is different. They have the other issues of institutions are not prepared to deal or understand OT. Still, the basic issue is that IT staff doesn't believe OT and vice versa. Atul, I'm saying right or wrong? They don't share the data. That's the first part of it. Some people who are ambitious and very good, they feel that connect IT, OT directly, no issue, without realizing the difference in architecture, difference in configuration among them. So there is a underprepared organizations in the country, everywhere, including my friend Diwan also. Because I have been their SOC, I have been seen their Gandhinagar, Shanti. What called Shanti? Shantigram, I have seen there. Underprepared organization, people just don't realize there. Nothing happened, nothing is disclosed. Everything is fine. Lack of OT security maturity. Some of the established institutions which are custodian of the entire discipline. Several times I've said, why don't you have a OT embedded system tools which can check, but tools are pretty costly. Raytheons or the Lockheed Martins or the Dassault, they are the people who are producing those tools because of the large embedded system in the devices which they have. Proprietary cost is very high. There is no estimate of the cost. The government procedure doesn't allow you to buy from the single source, and that too in terms of crores. Tools are not there. Understanding of the security is very weak. There are, as I said, groups, risky convergence project. And that's another thing I must highlight the problem there. The marketing team and IT team and OT team, they all work in a different kind of a isolated kind of a pocket. The business says, you implement, I want tomorrow. And in the government also it happened there. But all of you understand, it can't be done tomorrow. There's a planning, architecture, upgradation, interfaces, all kind of a scenario. As a result, they are in a, whatever time they may say, they are in a hurry to implement the system. There's half-baked system, not properly tested there. It goes, it sits down, crashes there. What has happened as a result? What has driven to that? Now, almost all organization, marketing has their own development team. You want to am I right or wrong? Has his own operating team. Half-baked technical, half-baked marketing there. And you can see the entire system gets impacted because of this philosophy. No, I have to commit it, I have to give it tomorrow. That is the risk. Convergence projects are there, risky projects are there, which there is no appreciation there. Old SCADA. Old SCADAs are all proprietary system. Today, now, maybe another couple of years, you will get open standard interfaceable, but still all SCADAs they can't be interfaced together. All proprietary systems there. Like this, if you look at the list there, these are we don't have a preparedness, sliced terms and condition, not properly understood, legacy infrastructure, supply chain risks are very, very high, very heavy. These are the scenarios which are specialized because of the OT system, and I said some of them are getting now updated, but every time there will be a merger of legacy plus the system. Where are we? You can see where are we, where we have to go. That's a scenario which we need to go there, and that is where I leave it to you. I thanks the organizer, which I should have done it right in the beginning. Sorry, MAKP, that invited me to interact with all, give my views there, give my suggestion, and share my experience with that. And to conclude that, friends, we need to stand up. It's not a singular kind of a working. We need to work together. We need to share our experience. We need to, how the system has been implemented. We need to be vigilant. Management need to provide more funds. They have to understood the more funds. Today, the banking operation is not a banking, it's largely IT operation. Today, any plant operation is an IT operation. Power is an IT technology operation. That's a scenario which we have, and we must be prepared for that. And with this, I thank very much. I've taken some time. Thanks very much for giving a long kind of a lecture. I also apologize to my panelists for taking more time and taking over their time. Thanks very much.